Second. Okay. Welcome to Real Ron Recovered. This is our YouTube channel. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. We always get on here and either talk about the steps in the rawest and realest way, or we talk about some real shit about getting sober, staying sober, and what it really looks like. And we said we was gonna start putting some new content up. I'm Bobo.
I'm Adam.
This is Adam. We crossed paths quite a few months ago, and felt like he might have something to share with the world. You know, when anybody starts getting this recovery thing, there's a certain few things that really click for them. And put it this way. When I got recovered and I really had a hold of this thing, there were certain things that were so potent and clear to me that I was mad I didn't know it sooner.
Yeah.
And so it was like, that's what I really wanted to tell people about, to give them a heads up. But this Adam, you got to give him a chance to tell his story, where he come from, how he got here, how he got out of it, some of the pluses and negatives, some of the stuff he's learned since he's been here. You can take it away anytime you want, bro.
All right. I think like I guess something that I kind of blocked out. I'm a chronic relapser. I don't think that I ever actually, knowing what I know now, what recovered is, I don't think that I ever really experienced real freedom or recovery. Because I was like, whenever I got in trouble in like middle school, I was like introduced to recovery at a really like early age, and they had like these groups in Houston where I'm from, and it was like the 12 steps, but then they replaced God with stick with winners.
Yeah.
And I didn't take it, like I wasn't ready. Like I liked it, like looking back, because like I liked like the girls in there and stuff, and and like but it really, all it did was kind of like, I don't know, I think having, for kids at least, like from my experiences, having that introduction into recovery like too early, it almost ruined it for me.
Yeah, I could see that. See that, because I always understood the 12 steps only to be a to-do list, and then I found out later in spiritual experience it's not in the doing. Which revolutionized my way of seeing things and made staying sober so much easier. When it was a to-do list, bro, I couldn't fucking stand that shit.
Yeah.
It got, goddamn, fuck all them goddamn meetings all the fucking time, every goddamn day. Didn't it, the to-do list went way past the fucking rooms too.
Yeah.
Changed people, places, and things. Now I can't even drive past the motherfucking hood to get to work. Now, if I'm invited to a party, I can't go. If I want to go to a concert, I can't go. Goddamn, I went from one kind of hostage, which is worse, to a different type of hostage, and before you know it, I was so fucking miserable in my sobriety, I didn't really want the shit no more.
Yeah, and that I guess, like, I prefaced what I was about to say with that, because I already had like a prejudice against spiritual things, against like recovery. I thought this shit was corny, and like and frankly, the people that I did see in recovery that were sober were not real addicts. So what I know, like what a chronic alcoholic is, that it talks about in the book.
Yeah.
And so it just put a bad taste in my mouth, because fast forward like 10 years, whenever I really started seeing consequences, from like real consequences like jail and shit like that, I was so turned off by any of that shit, and I was like, man, that's cool. I'm happy for y'all, man, but that shit, y'all are corny as hell and like weak, and it just seems superficial to me, and so I think like I don't know. I was so embarrassed, like to be a dope fiend too, and because especially when I guess like when I right before I got really strung out, I was making like a lot of money selling drugs and shit, and like started being like for me that it was like a facade at the time to like act like I'm hard and sell drugs and
They
shit.
got it under control.
Yeah.
I get money from this shit.
Yeah, and really, bro, like it was. It when you want to be something like bad enough and you practice at that, like I eventually like. I don't know. I really became like a piece of shit. Like,
you telling my story on the cool because you know that was my last, not the last time that I used, but the time before that I had really got into the hustling of it. Basically meant that I had a drug dealer's habit, a hustler's habit.
Yeah.
I had a Gorilla, silverback. You know, I'm 5 grams of tar a day, which is a big fucking heroin, and I didn't even shoot it. So for every gram, I put 4 grams of cut on it. So if you know, I'm like 20 grams I'm snorting, basically eating dope through my nose. Man, when they came in and got me and got all that money from me and all that dope from me, when they came in and got me, man, the detoxes from that was I needed medical attention. You know, they had to give me Ativan to wean me off, blood pressure through the roof, heart racing, skin crawling. I was sick as hell. And all I could think about was how much money I was getting.
Yeah.
But I was miserable. I wasn't as bad as motherfucker wake up sick, didn't have nothing. You know, so I tried to disqualify myself as being strung out. But I was all the way blown, full blown.
And I would say, I kind of put like this, made myself different from people in that needed recovery because there was certain shit that like I prided myself in doing at that time. I had not crossed that line yet. Like I still always paid back if I owed you money. Like I'd always pay you back. And really, bro, as ironic as it was, like I wanted to just be like, oh, I'm just that solid. But it's because I had a good fucking upbringing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like I had like opportunities, and I should like, knowing what I know now about the disease of addiction, like I had like way less control than but at the beginning though it really was it was me making a series of bad choices that then I crossed over that line into addiction, and like all that stuff that I said like I would never do, and I looked down on like these are like junkies and nasty, like bro, it got to the point like where I couldn't buy my own lies anymore, like where I'm like, okay, every single time I end up living with whatever girl I'm with, I end up I'll make a bunch of money and then do this shit, and then I go to jail, and then I go to, then I try rehab, and then I go to and then I end up living in with their mom or with their grandma and shit, and like it was just so humiliating and like defeated, like and even in jail, like this is without the substances, I was still buying my own lies. And I'd be the coolest motherfucker in rehab, the coolest motherfucker in jail. You know what I mean? Everyone's like, man, you're so. Motherfuckers would tell me in jail, you're so positive, man. You make doing time so easy, and like, and bro, and I believe that. Oh, I just had these like I was in high spirits, but I fucking hated myself, and I was just I just to be able to survive my own lie, I started really believing that I was okay.
Mm-hmm. So when you made it to the place where you really realized you needed some help, and you actually got involved in the treatment center that was giving you a lot of the things you needed as far as the 12 steps, an explanation of it, a learning of the big book and stuff like that, what was the difference between the living situation under that type of nurturing with the 12 steps and the crossover to getting out in the free world? Because it's a big fucking difference. We be trying to act like it ain't.
Oh, you're saying like the structure of being safe in that structure, in that bubble?
Yeah, because a lot of shit just be imagined about how shit gonna go and all that kind of shit, and you know, and everybody give you you got this type shit, and you didn't work the steps, and you didn't, and ain't nothing wrong with that. You should, but when you get out, rubber meet the motherfucking road, and there's some traction, there's some friction, there's some turbulence, there's some different shit to go through, and I ain't learned a motherfucking thing
Yeah.
about life on life terms in that nice ass environment.
Yeah.
You get out here, that shit get real in the motherfucker.
I think man, I just the way being in like a safe bubble, you don't really because the whole reason why I use it is to treat that restless, irritable, and discontent.
Right.
Like that was like my normal.
That's the ism.
Yeah, and so I ended up. As much as I wanted to be ready and as much as I took it seriously in the program, it wasn't fucking real. And
So a lot of it was imagined.
yeah, because it wasn't. I didn't actually get cool like any piece or I didn't even. I thought I was doing the God shit because they told me to, and I started maybe if I just fake it till I make it, then I'll experience something. But I just wasn't. I still thought I had good ideas left, and like I still had
some good about myself.
Yes, I still liked myself.
Yeah.
Even though I was embarrassed and horrified of this shit, I wasn't ready to really see myself for what I had truly become. And I think that, thank you. Until I would like, bro, realize like, and could be honest about how foul I am and how disgraceful I am. I wasn't able to have a spiritual experience or to be like, I wasn't.
I feel so bad for anybody who's a real addict and alcoholic who is opposed to seeking a spiritual experience, a spiritual solution. Because staying sober without one, for me, it's impossible. I can't talk for everybody else, but I can say this. I'm so addict alcoholic. I'm going to treat my motherfucking restless, irritable, and discontented one way or the other.
Yeah.
Either I'm going to put myself in front of a higher power and accept spiritual way of life and learn how to live in the moment, or I'm headed to get some goddamn dope even if I don't know it. And it's so fucked up to find myself back high again after I tried so hard on my own.
Hey, I remember going to treatment and being out in the sober living, and after getting my ass kicked, and like I'd just done like right under 2 years like consecutively incarcerated, and then was out for 8 months, and then caught another case and OD. This one fentanyl was like coming out, and like I OD'd a bunch, like bro, like more times than I could count, like blew
back to back.
And had to get brought back to life, and had the most horrific experiences. And after doing 90 days in treatment, going to sober living, man, like, and I was saying all the right shit, and whenever I was right there, like when it came down to it, bro, I think I lasted a week. So I'm gonna work out. I'm working out. I'm swiping on Tinder. I'm trying to get laid, and like.
Still trying to treat the ism.
Yeah, because I want everyone to see me.
Because I'm trying to treat the ism without dope first.
Yeah.
Pussy, money, fun shit. I'll still be trying to treat the ism. I'll be chasing like a motherfucker. And eventually, I know what the fuck I want.
Yeah, while I'm preaching to other people about, hey, bro, you just need to do this. And really believe in it. Fuck. I was in a sober living, man, and I remember I was in a new city and didn't know anybody, and was like, bro, I was watching porn like 5 times a day, like going to the gym,
to pull your shit out.
Yeah, and then swiping on dating apps, like just finding anything like but getting high. Like in the back of my head, I knew I couldn't get high. And until one day, and when I say one day, I'm talking about it wasn't even a full week. I just said, man, fuck it, and went and got some fentanyl. And overdosed in the sober living, and then like woke up with all these paramedics and shit around me. I actually had warrants out, and I remember I was fucking terrified, and I saw the badges of like all these people. There was just like EMS, like I think they called the police.
Came to
yeah, and I still wasn't there, man. I think I probably for the next few years, I went to treatment like 2 times, and I left early one of the times, and it just, bro, until the time that this time it's actually stuck, and I'm not saying that I stayed sober the time when it actually had an impact, but what the beginning point was was, going to the same treatment center that you went to, and literally like my legal consequences were so like I never thought that I was gonna get out of jail to see like the light of day, and I didn't. And off my I was smoking a bunch of PCP right before, and the psychosis of meth and fentanyl withdrawals, this was all kicking my ass for a whole month, dude. I was miserable in the county jail, and losing my mind, and nobody wanted to talk to me. My family wouldn't even talk to me. I'm watching I'm watching this girl that I've been with for a few years. She's strung out now because I got her on this shit. And I'm video visiting with her, watching the decline. And it was just a stab in my heart, bro. That pit,
you
pit.
Knew you bore some guilt for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I felt more guilty or it combined with just the fear of me finally being caught and when oh shit, I'm really being. I finally now I can't hide my emotions or I see myself for what I truly am. And I'm a fucking loser. Yeah. And I went to I went to the 90-day treatment center. That's just intense on the big book. And man, off anything they told me, and my willingness at that point was they told me to jump. I'll say how high, and I followed all the rules for the first time in my life because I never followed rules and always thought I could get away with it. But I surrendered at least to the program at that time, to the program, and I started, I was praying there because I was told that I was supposed to, but I really started seeing some cool shit happen. I was more at peace with nothing than I'd ever been before.
What do you think happened? Because something happened to you. I'm an eyewitness. Something happened. Maybe it was subtle. Maybe some parts of it was all of a sudden. But something happened that completely changed this right here. Carl Jung describes spiritual experience. Let's see if I can find it right quick. Carl Jung described spiritual experience. He was talking to Roland Hazard III on page 27, and the psychiatrist had told the dude, you was gonna either have to hire a bodyguard and have yourself locked up to live long, and that was the physician's opinion. And it says, but this man still lives and is free and blah blah blah. It's okay. The doctor told him you have the mind of a chronic alcoholic or addict, and I have never seen one single case recover where that state of mind exists to the extent that it does in you. And says our friend Roland Hazard III felt as though the gates of hell had closed on him with a clang, and so he asked the doctor, "Is there no exceptions?" And the doctor said, "Yes, there is exceptions to cases such as yours. Have been occurring since early times. Here and there, once in a while, alcoholics and addicts have had what are called vital spiritual experiences." Here's the description he gives of a vital spiritual experience. And I'm sure it varies with every person, but to some degree, I've watched this happening to you. Happening, and will continue to happen. It said they appear to be in the nature of huge emotional displacements and rearrangements. Ideas, emotions, and attitudes which were once the guiding forces of the lives of these men are suddenly cast to one side, and a completely new set of conceptions and motives begin to dominate them.
Yeah.
A lot of shit switched up with you, and I don't know if it's the tell of the tape because of all the shit that happened historically to bring you up to this point. I'm sure that has something to do with it, but the mindset that changed as far as what was we reading?
About the vital spiritual experience?
It's it's in there, the solution. It says, it's to page 25. No. I think it's 25. Yeah, there it is. It says, the great fact is just this and nothing less, that we have had deep and effective spiritual experiences which have revolutionized our whole attitude towards life, towards our fellows, and towards God's universe. The central fact of our lives today is the absolute certainty that our Creator has entered our hearts and lives in a way which is indeed miraculous. He has commenced to accomplish those things for us which we could never do by ourselves. and that I've been watching that happen with you and a lot of the other guys over at the house at Ibis.
It does feel a lot more peaceful. Like
Yeah.
everyone, there's not drama
Not
and
as
chaos
much
every
drama all the time.
I don't.
I mean, if you
I just gave up, bro. Like
I surrender for real.
Yeah.
Because I would say, okay, let's ask you this question. We know YouTube is seen all around the world. Ours is particularly structured and focused on recovery and reaching addicts and alcoholics. And so this is part of our outreach for Real Ron Recovered. This is part of our giving back. This is hospitals and institutions. This is, trying to share what's been freely given to us. If there was 1, 2, 3 things that you wish you could get across to the guy trying to get this way of life, if you had the opportunity to share some pointers, what would they be?
That your feelings don't fucking matter. Like I don't like a lot of shit. And I'm more like, or I object to a lot of shit that happens throughout
Right.
my day, just at work or But it's like
That's some
Just
potent
be
shit,
fucking-
right?
just be-
That's some potent shit right there. Hold on. Your feelings don't fucking matter. They're yours.
they're real too.
They're yours. They're real. It's really how you feel. And at the same time, I got to get to a place with my relationship with God and my devotion to this program and the spiritual way of life that I say fuck my feelings.
Yeah.
Because can't nobody tell me fuck my feelings.
Yeah.
I got to be able to say fuck my feelings. That's
I-
some potent shit right there.
I would call you like I would call you and this happened like shoot like in like the last few months where I had something. It was like everything in my life started getting so much better. Like I had a job, like everything was coming, like all the stuff that I was like worried about being able to do sober, like all started happening. Like and I still always had something to bitch about. And one day I just like heard myself and I'm like, dude, you sound like such a hoe, dude. And bro, like I don't know. It's just I'm always gonna use and get high if I'm restless, irritable, and discontent. If I'm not okay, then I'm gonna get high. And I realized like I don't have the fucking luxury of not being okay.
Right.
And so I'll be miserable
Right.
and it's still like. But when something really fucks with me, I mean I'm an emotional addict, and so it'll be in my head, but I can't really get it out of my head for maybe an hour or two. That's the point where I'm at now. But I've realized, like, man, if I'm like, whenever I have that fucking feeling in the pit of my stomach, bro, I have to go find a real way to get rid of that feeling,
Yeah.
or else I will change the way that I feel to get that
Yeah.
spiritual relief. And at first you'd always tell me, man, go to God or feel your feelings, just start getting used to being uncomfortable. And dude, I swear, right at the time when like I was about to like, man, fuck this, and just give up on this shit, like I can't explain it, man. Like I kept trying I kept praying, and at some point I really did see that God was started working in my life.
Yeah.
And then, man, it's like something I know about God is like, and just how He's worked in my life is that like it will feel like I can't handle any of that, and I can't handle it alone. Like just me, like it is too much. I have too much on my plate, and it's too stressful. But like,
But with
bro,
God, you can
with
get
God,
through
with
it.
God, I can. And
Yeah.
it sounds cliche,
It
and like I'm
sounds
trying to put
cheesy
it,
as shit.
and I'm trying to put it in like practical terms or something. But like, bro, it's just
As practical as you try to put it,
Yeah.
it's still completely spiritual.
Yeah.
And it has to happen to me. So that's one. Fuck your feelings. You got another one? If you had anything else you would really want to push off or relate or share to somebody out there trying to find this way of life,
man, I think like the honesty, just the little shit, all the little lies and exaggerations and shit like that like I thought for so long didn't matter.
Yeah.
It really is. That is a direct like, I guess,
blow to your spirit.
Yeah.
Because the process of the steps has very specific stuff up there to clear my conscience. The inventory, admitting to God, myself, and another human being the exact nature of my wrongs and making amends. That process spiritually gives me the ability to look the world in the eye.
Yes.
And be a part of. And any type of exaggerating the truth, stretching the truth, telling a flat ass lie, manipulations, any of that, even if I'm not aware of it, is a direct blow on my spirit, which is to agitate my restless, irritable, and discontented.
Yes, even when I'm getting away with it and nobody finds out, I'm not getting away with it because I have that spiritual hole, like the God-sized hole, like that I get high over to fulfill.
Yeah.
Like that will always be there as long as, like, if I can't look the world in the eye and I'm not authentic, then
if I got to still be pulling the sneakies, I'm probably not gonna last long.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good one.
I think too the complete deflation is like the first step. You know what I mean? That in admitting that my life is that I'm powerless over alcohol and drugs. But then a separate, my life is unmanageable, period.
Right. By me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I'm maladjusted to life. It says in the big book, and I can't control my emotions. Like I can't do all that shit. Even when I get really good at bottling it up and being a man about it, like bro, like it fucks me up and I get high over it.
Yeah.
Or I'm just the hateful human being, but I don't do miserable. Like I will get fucked up. If I'm miserable, I get high.
I'm gonna treat this damn disease one way or the other. If I don't choose spiritual way of life, God, surrender, saying fuck my feelings. If I don't choose those things daily, multiple times a day, I have chosen to go back to the dope house. If I can snap out of it before I make it to the dope house, God's faithful, and I ain't got to do it by myself. But if I don't snap out of it, give me 2, maybe 3 days, because the momentum of doing the right thing might last a couple of days.
Yeah.
But my misery is increasing, like compound interest. It's fucking doubling up,
People would say that shit like, "Oh, what I did yesterday won't keep me sober today," and I was like, "What the fuck does that mean?" And
it might keep me from using today, but what I did yesterday has absolutely nothing to do with the responsibility I have to rely on God today.
Yeah.
Now I can say that because there's people who could just stay dry and not use for years and years, and maybe never even use again. But I don't want a motherfucking thing they got. Miserable looking motherfuckers. Because I mean, sitting there saying the same. You sit in the room, in the regular room. Ain't there 2 or 3 motherfuckers that every time they get a chance to share, they gonna say the exact same shit every fucking time?
Yeah.
Like ain't no life in them. And you hardly ever see them smile. Just walking around moping all the time, downing coffee like it's motherfucking E.J. or Hennessy. Yeah. I didn't want that. I didn't want that. If that's what being sober was gonna look like, then fuck sobriety.
Yeah.
Then fuck that shit. Then I wasn't gonna be that. I'm not gonna stay miserable.
Or if I'm still treating my fucking family and my girl like shit.
The shit that's off the camera. Yeah. Get home, kick the dog. Shit. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Oh man, like I think too that it says like we must get rid of this selfishness or else it kills us. Mm-hmm. But I can't get rid of that selfishness on my own. Just me wanting to not be selfish. I think that's the first step is like realizing how selfish I am.
Yeah.
But realizing that shit like
ain't nothing I can do.
Yeah, like
the book said that. It says a better code of morals or a better philosophy of life is sufficient to overcome alcoholism. Many of us would have recovered long ago. But such codes and morals, no matter how much we couldn't will them, we just couldn't fucking do it.
Yeah.
The needed power wasn't there. And man, in some senses, I know the newcomer probably saying, man, that shit sounds space cadet to me. But boy, when rubber meet the road, I hate the thought of how many times around the fucking mountain a person has to go through before they're fucking relax, calm down, accept that this will work, accept that God is real and concerned, and take some suggestions and fucking relax,
And what's crazy is that a lot of times, like, one of those times around the mountain, God may
might get, or
like,
it might let you die.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, because there's a difference that you got God's divine will, which is the stuff we're living because we've surrendered to the program and believe God real, and we currently keep a connection.
Yeah.
So I live in God's divine will. He got me. I ain't got nothing to worry about. But I could get to making them independent moves based on how I feel, what I want, the attempt to control and arrange life, self-reliance, and I'll get myself so bottled up that shit, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
For what? Like,
I mean, it don't even make sense.
I am my problem.
Yep. And when I'm my problem, in my opinion, it's everybody else's fault.
And that is my main problem.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Is what does it say that in the book that he's a prime example of self-will run right.
No, you don't think so.
Yeah. No,
or he to see that others was wrong as far as most of us ever got. Mm-hmm. Or the guy, or this one blows the newcomers out the water. House or no house, job or no job, car or no car, wife or no wife. The person who can and will stay sober can stay sober without them things. What? Yeah. I bet they see the tree right now like, what? Yeah. But it's true. If I surrender to the program and relax, take the suggestions, and try to cultivate a belief or reliance on the power greater than myself, staying sober seems to be just a side effect of the connection. It's a whole lot easier than determination of will, trying to run and gun. Well, I remember some years of dry variety. Yeah. Just dry variety. Not sobriety at all. Yo, good shit. You got some more?
Nah, I'm good.
Well, yeah. What do you want to name this one? As Adam sees it.
Like, yes, I do want to, but no.
Yeah, no, we'll name that. Yeah. I ain't scared. Fuck the people, man. Yeah, but this is, we got some more content. We got some more guys that's doing pretty good. Gonna come tell their story, their point of view. We're just trying to give back. We ain't trying to make no name for ourselves or nothing. What's been freely given to us, we're just trying to share it with the recovering community, hoping that some people find it useful, hopeful that we're heard. Somebody brought the message to me, and I heard them. And some years ago, I ended up in the same treatment center where I met this man. And
which I thought of one more thing actually.
Go
I guess like now that like mental health is like becoming huge on social media and just like it's becoming like so mainstream, is I think like a common misconception for the chronic addict or alcoholic is like, oh, you gotta love yourself and like have self-esteem, and for me, I really didn't have anything to love about myself.
Right.
And I wasn't doing anything esteemable.
So how do you tell somebody that? It sounds like a big-ass contradiction when how I've been living ain't no shit to be loved.
Yeah.
Right? And so, yeah.
I don't know. I started to truly hate myself for me without God.
Yeah.
And because that's what I will go back to. And I'll do it again and again and again. And I have no power over that. But... Bro, God gives a lot of grace, and
I think that if a person can, because it's self that gets me in trouble. It's independence, self-reliance, self-confidence, cocksureness. Pride, arrogance, fear, all these things that come from self. I mean, when you really lay out the me without God, I think it's a pretty good idea to learn how to loathe and hate that person.
Yes.
Because his best shit, his best fucking ideas take him to the dope house or the whole house. Yeah. And so I think one of the first parts of deflation is to be completely disgusted in myself and what I've been producing. And I think to some degree to retain a disgust in self. Yeah. The independent self is the way to stay connected to God, because that'd be the big problem. After you get small enough to actually be willing to do this, The next chore is to stay small.
Yeah.
Cause when we puff back up and go to talking that I got it shit,
Yeah.
here we
Let's
go.
tear it down again.
Here we go. Well, anyway, we thank y'all for attending. Share, subscribe, like, all that old good shit every other creator does and says, all that good shit. We out.
All right.
Peace.